It's just, I guess, and I can't speak for all of us, but as somebody that has, I do things that are not typical of a woman. Okay, so I build custom furniture pieces from scratch. I love raw wood and metals, and my garage has more tools than most men that I know.
Hmm.
And for me, I don't necessarily advertise that. However, that ability to do those kind of things, those things that are not traditionally feminine, I suppose, has always been a bonus. So it's hard to maybe fathom that it could be construed as a negative. And so I guess the point that I'm making here, or that I'm running around to, is that I feel like a lot of the things that you guys view as masculine coming from a
The
woman.
audio's
Can you hear me?
There you
maybe
go.
some maybe some mine, but I thought the audio was messing up a little bit.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine, Tracy. Derek?
Okay.
It seems like a lot of things that you guys view as masculine, it almost feels like an effort to diminish, like a woman's accomplishments. Like I hear it so much, that men don't care about our degrees and they don't care about our accomplishments like that. Those aren't the selling factor or
Can I
whatnot.
interject?
Yes.
I get, for me, I try to avoid the extreme language, right? So I would don't care is like a zero, it goes to zero. It goes, so whenever we're talking about it's either this or it's that, so much of life is going to be on that spectrum somewhere, left or to the right. So I would say it's not so much that you wouldn't care, you would care. It just wouldn't be one of the primary attributes you look for when you're trying to mate select. That's what I would say. I mean,
Right. And you
it's a,
know what? I agree with that. I honestly do. I mean, I guess in the grand scheme of things, if you're a traditional man, then you're probably looking for more traditional qualities from a woman, as far as like, like you mentioned earlier, the nurturing spirit, etc., etc.
mhm.
However, I don't know. I just feel like there's men out there that value other things as well, especially in today's worlds where, they do value accomplishments and they do that. And for those women that have done that, I don't necessarily call them masculine. I would just say that they lead with that. And maybe they're lacking in other areas because they lead like that. It's just like a guy overcompensating with his wallet.
but but
Like
but
maybe that's what it is.
But yeah, but see, that's the thing. A guy overcompensating with his wallet because we know that around the world and throughout human history, a man's wallet was a major contributor to the amount of opportunities you're going to have with the opposite sex. That's historically, that's worldwide. So it would make sense. Not saying that men always do it in the best way. I have friends that lead that way all the time, and it comes across clumsy, comes across, too materialistic. But at the same time, generally speaking, he just did it in a very clumsy way. There's much more sophisticated ways to display your affluence. I
I
mean,
agree.
most of the studies that have been done show that one of the main factors women mate select for is perceived affluence, whether it's on dating apps or it's when they take do studies and they show women different pictures of different men wearing different types of clothing. Some clothing that lend itself to the person being more affluent, and the women tend to pick those guys more often. So we do know that is a real thing that happens. Uh,
My take, I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead. That was it.
Well, yeah, I just think that I think that the problem with the whole masculine versus feminine movement thing is just like I said, I think that they're just quick to call anything that they don't like masculine. I do. Because from a
Yeah.
woman's perspective, like none of us want to be, you know, bushes and, or like none of us want to control a dude. We don't want to do that. We don't want to control a grown man. We don't want to be in a household with a man and still have to lead that household. Like that's not the overall desire of
So
most women.
Tracy and if Chris and Derek are feel free to chime in. But the thing is that if ladies like you said, which I would agree with on paper, they wouldn't want to lead that household. But if they are advertising their assertiveness, their boss, I got this business, I got this business. They don't have they have the time of a traditional entrepreneur would have. They're busy with juggling a bunch of different stuff. So that's not classically feminine. The feminine is going to help the masculine. Is gonna serve the masculine.
I think what you just said sucks. I think that sucks because it's like if a woman is an adult and she is single, and let's say, I don't know, she's divorced. Let's say she's a widow. Let's say any of these situations. So she has a family. Is she not supposed to work? Is she not supposed to be capable of buying a home? Is she not supposed to, either be able to hire a yard man or get out there and weed herself? Like, of course she's supposed to do these things. And it's almost like the capability to do what a man is able to do is a turnoff for men. But at the same time, we have to be alive. We have to eat. We have to feed our kids. We got to have a job that we can afford to take off of when people are sick and not die. Like, we have to be able to do all those things. So I guess now the question would be, how are you gauging, your dislike or your like of what you consider to be masculine in a woman? Because it sounds like survival skills.
Okay. I think we are casting a fishing rod in an ocean. Let's kind of get it to a bathtub.
Okay.
When we look at this when we're talking about the masculine woman, all the traits that you just said, yes, those are masculine in a negative way if she thinks that's what attracts us. It's like that's a masculine quality. And if you think I want you because you're a boss babe and you got your own money and you don't financially need me, that's not appealing. Those are masculine traits we don't like. Now, if you're a single woman and you're a boss babe and you want your own life and you don't give a crap about no man, you can be as masculine as you want to be. And we don't have a problem with you being masculine over there. But it's like now you're coming into a relationship, and I'm actually going to spin into this question that you guys have. I think the biggest issue is there's no God. There's no God in these relationships. We don't even get the hierarchy in place. So that already distorts everything. And Tracy, I'm going to say something. It's in a disagreement with you on women don't want to control. The very nature of a woman from the very beginning of time with Eve has been control. And I'll prove it to you in this way. When Eve did what she did, he said, because you did this, you're going to have pain in childbirth, and your desire will be for your husband, but he will rule over you. When you go look up the word desire in Hebrew, it means to usurp control. He literally was telling woman, you're going to want to control. That's going to be an internal thing that you're going to want to do, but he's going to rule over you. And so I would venture to say it. And then you watch TV, everything is set up for the woman. If mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. Happy wife, happy life. Everything is centered around mama, 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 mama. But if you put God in the mix, and you realize that man is accountable to someone above him, and she's accountable to someone above her, if that was the mix in our black culture from the beginning, we'd be looking at things a little differently as far as how our women are showcasing today.
That's a good point. Hold on for a minute. I just want to read the comments. We got Jessica Alexander said, "This is good. Wish I could stay longer." All right. Cool. So I just want to. I'm gonna answer after you, Tracy. You want to respond to Derek, or you have something else to say?
Okay. I don't want to be argumentative. I really don't.
No, I get you.
I totally get the point that you're making. I understand and I empathize with that a lot. However, if we're going to go biblical, and if we're going to bring that up, like the whole notion behind submission is, it's always been stated that the strongest woman is the submissive one, because although you lead, there's a uniqueness and a strength in being able to allow you to do that. and being able to trust that you're going to do that properly. But part of that in and of itself is because our opinions and things of that nature are valued, that they're weighed in on the decisions. So it's like inadvertently, we all lead. We all lead. But I don't think that it's fair to say that women don't want that. I think if you took a poll of women, like especially adult women who've been around the block a couple times that have, dealt with this, that, and the other, none
Yeah.
of us are gonna say, I want a man that I can control. I
Oh
want
no,
a
you're not
man
gonna
that's
say
gonna,
it.
or even, I mean, but none of us actually want that. You know what I'm saying? Like when we say, if you use it the way that you're saying it, desire, that's because we want a man that's going to do those things for us. That's our version of control, is him doing all those things for us, not just for himself.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Chris and Vulcan, you want to chime in on what Tracy's saying?
I was just going to say that obviously I feel like there's nothing wrong with the woman having some masculine traits.